All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeft TV. You ready for some high-speed action tonight? Step on the gas. Hey, let's try that again. Here we go. All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeft TV. You ready for some high-speed action tonight? Step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to Oulton Park. This is TurnLeft TV for real. And I am your host, Heath Johnson. This is round number 3, and we are at Oulton Park tonight. 2 races, 2 15-lap races, and it is a great track. We're approaching halfway. And it's the BTCC series. Great track, my favorite track, and it's going to be flag-to-flag coverage here today. 2 races at Oulton Park. Who's got what it takes to bring home the victory? Well, there is only one way to find out, and that's watch it right here on TurnLeft TV. Well, Oulton Park hitting you in the face here for 2 races. Round number 3. It's the High Octane Racing League BTCC series, and this is TurnLeft TV. Let's get this party started. All right, thank you so much for coming in here and joining me on TurnLeft TV. I'm going to have a quick little pre-race show here since I messed up the beginning today. Sometimes when I load OBS, man, for some reason, it does not load my microphone for some reason. When and I don't know why, but sometimes I don't check that, and I start the broadcast and have no microphone. So I got to shut down OBS, launch it again, and we're back. Well, anyway, I'm the only guy, man. I'm the only person running the show, so you can blame me. This is Oulton Park. I'm your host, Heath Johnson, broadcaster, commentator, and the guy to blame when things don't go right here on the broadcast. But thanks for sticking with us. Appreciate it. And hopefully everybody's having a good weekend. It's round number 3, 2 races, 15-lap races here at Oulton Park, and this is going to be a fantastic venue. This is my favorite road course of all. And I've been looking forward to this one. Got out and did some laps last night, too, man. It wasn't too bad with the help of Paul Brown and the setup that he shared with me. But, yeah, man, I enjoyed it. Today's race is brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server, there are 3 self-managed server packages for you to choose from. A great service there. We run all of our series races through EliteHostingUSA.com and their servers. WordPress hosting as well, who hosts our website, online store hosting, VPS hosting, shared web hosting, all available through EliteHostingUSA.com. Thanks for joining me here on the YouTube channel. Appreciate that. And sorry we had a little bit of a problem there at the beginning, but appreciate everybody coming out and watching the races. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, man, if you haven't already done so, and get those likes out there. And also subscribe if you haven't done so. Please do so, and share my videos with all your friends. Don't forget to smash that bell. You'll get updates when races are going live. Again, thanks for coming out. I've got tons of races there for you to watch. 445 videos on my YouTube channel now. Take a look at the schedule in the Bushwhacker Series. They'll be at Bristol Motor Speedway coming up on 15 September, race number 7 of the season. Those guys are coming up on a very special event on 22 September. That's the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network Hospitals race, charity race there at Texas Motor Speedway. So, had an interesting race last night, but hopefully these guys get to redeem themselves at Bristol coming up next week for 150 laps. BTCC schedule here at Oulton Park, halfway through the season. Next week will be Indianapolis Road Course. We are altering British tracks and American tracks. Laguna Seca, man, we didn't have a really solid turnout there for that. Oulton Park here is a more traditional BTCC series track. And Indianapolis Road Course, don't know what to expect there. That's my home, so I had to throw that track out there. Silverstone coming up on September the 23rd, and then finish it out this season. I'm excited about this with Gateway Road Course. Short, a little under a minute to get around that joint, and they're going to see some tight racing there, man. Very, very excited about that Gateway track. I think it would make a fantastic BTCC series track. Let's take a look at the track here at Oulton Park. 4.3 kilometers in length, 2.692 miles, and this is the international configuration. 17 turns, a lot of elevation changes, a lot of twists and turns, a couple chicanes. And my favorite track by far. Love Oulton Park, and I'm excited to bring you the race here today. And flag coverage here for short races, 15-lap races in the BTCC series. The High Octane Racing League Saturday Night Thunder will be in action in just a little while, man. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In a 120-lap race from Kansas, race number 5. And I get out of the broadcast booth, get in the driver's seat, and mix it up with the best. They call this Beat the Broadcaster Night. And it's the Saturday Night Thunder coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Kansas. Looks like practice is over. These guys are going to go to the qualification session. Now, right now we have it set to do unlimited laps there, as many laps as you can get in the 10-minute qualification session. So now these guys headed over to quals. And again, this is round 3, Oulton Park. The BTCC Series 2023. All right, these guys out on the track for qualifications. We'll take a look at Phil Vick. His outlap. Right now shown 12 drivers. May have a few more join here in the for the warm-up session. A lot of guys signed up for this league. We've had a little bit of a disappointing turnout with guys who sign up and then don't show up to race. So I guess you'll have that. That's the nature of running a league, right? Phil Vick here in the 2-car. BMW, he's been lightning fast. He got 2 big wins last week at Laguna Seca. He and Nikolai Bezrikov are in a dogfight for the championship. I think 1 point separate the two of those guys. Take a look at the point standings shortly. .498 in that first sector for Phil Vick of the BMW, one of our Belgian drivers. See what he lays down here in on the split through sector number 2. Sector 2, really the very, very interesting sector. 44017. Sector 3 for the double right-handers. Up the hill and across the start-finish line. Let's see what the time is. 1:39.054. Top of the grid here so far. Let's take a look at his counterpart, Nikolai Bezhikov. Bezhikov just half a second back. Bezhikov with a 1:39.054. We'll take a look at the Revian Gumular. Now Bezhikov out here trying to dig into that that 1:38.610. Sorry, there I was having a little bit of a conversation behind the scenes. Bezhikov about a second behind. Let's take a look at the Andres Valles. He's been in the hunt there a few, and he's got himself in a little bit of trouble in some of these races. Great looking pace game there by Andre in that Toyota. Andres 1:38.610 is the time to beat. Right now he is 10th on the grid in the 42 car. Another guy here we're going to look at is Gordon Carter. Gordon Carter in the BMW 33 car. He's excited about this series, man. He is running 5th right now in qualifications, 2.9 seconds off the leader's time. So sorry about the little hitch at the beginning of the broadcast. Like I said, sometimes when I launch OBS, for some reason it does not pick up my microphone, so I have to shut it down and relaunch it, and then it's fine. But sometimes I forget to do that, and I start the broadcast and I'm yelling into a microphone that is not being picked up by OBS. So that's what happened there at the beginning. Sorry about that. I'm here to admit my mistakes. Nobody to blame it on but me. Hey, how about Dennis Yudichin with the new paint scheme this week? BMW. Our Ukrainian drivers in the sport, the Ukrainian colors. Here in the 3 car. We are going to have another driver joining us here shortly. Looks like Artem Shuliev has joined us on TeamSpeak, so he'll be out there after qualifications. Oh, boy, a little bit of off the track there in the sand for Yudichin. Nikolai Gerasimov. Gerasimov right now 4th in the practice, or the qualification session in the Toyota. Again, 138.610 is a time to beat. As we wind down quals here, a little bit slower there in sector number 2, a little bit off the pace. Coming around the final turn, up the hill, a little bumpy through that section of the track, and he lays down a 140.535 third on the grid for Gerasimov. Nice run there for Gerasimov. That's going to do it for the qualification session. And again, thanks for joining us here on TurnLeft TV. Appreciate you being here. And we'll get you the qualification results here very, very shortly. And again, thanks for joining us here on TurnLeft TV. Let's get this party started. All right, we're back. And a short little warm-up session. Again, thanks for joining us here on the High Octane Racing League BTCC Series. Inaugural BTCC Series here at HORL. And this is race number 3, or round number 3. 2 15-lap races today at Oulton Park. And let's take a look at the qualification results here in race number 1. Phil Vick with a 138.149 qualifies in P1. Nikolai Gerasimov, 138.929 second. Outside or inside row 2 will be Nikolai Gerasimov. Ritsky Novar starts 4th. Gordon Carter 5th. Andres Valles outside row 3. Revian Gumular and Paul Brown make up row number 4. Eugene Fedorov and Iqbal Kurdiawan row 5. Row 6 will be Dennis Yuderchin and John Stanley. And I believe I think Artem Shuliev was in here just a few minutes ago, so he might be joining us as well. He's still in TeamSpeak, so expect to see him in very shortly. And I think maybe Alexander Meshkov in here too. How about that, man? So we're going to have 14 drivers. That's be good. See if we get a point standings here. A little bit, wowza. Nikolai Bezhikov, sorry about the look of that, man. We got to do a little adjustment here. Let's try that. That'll make it a little better. There we go. A little bit better here. We'll do some work on that. Phil Vick is leading in points, just 1 point ahead. Bezhikov. Artem Shuliev is 3rd in points. Keenan Luang 4th. Iqbal Kurdiawan 5th. Andres Valles is 6th. Alexander Zakharov 7th. Gordon Carter 8th. Revian Gumular 9th. And Ritsky Novar rounding out the top 10 in points. And we got just about 40 seconds left here in the warm-up session. Quick little warm-up session. All right, looks like those guys are, we're waiting on Meshkov and Shuliev to get in here. So those guys showing up a little bit late. And I know you understand that they want to race with us, and we want them to race. We'll give them a little opportunity here to join and get in the car, get things set up here in just a second. It'll be a couple minutes. Give us a chance to make sure our side-by-side is working. Looks like it is, so. All right, looks like we're ready to rock and roll. Looks like Shuliev not able to make things happen to get in. All right, here we go. The starting order here at in round number 1, or race number 1. And it will a standing start. Phil Vick will start in P1. Nikolai Bezrikov starts second. Gerasimov starts third. Novar starts fourth. Gordon Carter starts in the 5th position. Andres Vallier 6th. Revian Gumilar will start 7th. Paul Brown starts in the 8th position. Starting in 9th will be Eugene Fedorov. Iqbal Kurdiawan starts 10th. Dennis Shooter 11th, and 12th will be John Stanley. Alexander Meshkov will start in the 13th position. So now we just do a little standing start here. This is going to be interesting, to say the least. Here we go, round number 1 in today's race. Phil Vick, Nikolai Bezrikov side by side. Phil Vick gets a good launch there, already knocking a pylon off into the grass. Phil Vick is our leader. Bezrikov in second, Gerasimov third, Novar fourth. Gordon Carter is in the 5th position. Starting to tighten up there as Gerasimov starting to put a little pressure on those front two through the chicane. On board here with Gerasimov, a little bit wide right there on that right-hander in the chicane. Second chicane here as Phil Vick leads the field in that BMW, but I'll tell you what, man, the Infinity just behind him of Nikolai Bezrikov, these guys have been in each other's grill all season long. Phil Vick got the 2 wins last week. The first week was Bezrikov taking the sweep. These guys starting to run away a little bit, and we're starting to see a good battle here for P3. Ritsky Novar running in the 4th position. Just ahead of him is Gerasimov. Tough to pass here, man. You got to pick your places. On board here with Ritsky Novar. Gordon Carter running in P5. Trying to close in on those guys. Andres Vallier in the 6th position. Gumilar 7th. Kurdiawan is 8th. Paul Brown 9th. Fedorov rounding out the top 10. Meshkov here in the 77 car. Man, he came in a little bit late. Trying to get this forward focus. Up the grid and maybe crack the top 10. Gerasimov, I think, might have had some trouble. Gerasimov in the grass. He's going to lose some positions here. Nikolai Gerasimov has had some trouble. He finds himself in the grass, and he's lost some positions here. So Gerasimov now back to the 11th position. Oh, straight into the tire barrier. Straight into the tire barrier, and he is retired for this race. Oh, my heavens. Gerasimov going to take the hit here in race number 1. Phil Vick is our leader. He's opened up a little bit of a gap now, a little over a second gap on P2. Ritsky Novar now up to P3 in the 97 car. Gerasimov had some trouble. Gerasimov was running in the 3rd position. He and Ritsky Novar go back here and take a look at right here on board here with Ritsky Novar. You see Gerasimov gets wide and Novar able to get around. And I think even Gordon Carter had a little mix of that as well. Take a look at the Gordon Carter's machine. You see Gerasimov in the grass, and it's hard to get that car stopped once you get in the grass. And he goes straight into that tire barrier. Andres Valles and Gordon Carter now back to live. Valles making an attack here on Gordon Carter, and Valles gets around Gordon Carter, takes over P4. Gordon Carter back to the 5th position. Valles up to P4. Gordon Carter 5th. Revion Gumular is running in 6th. That Psychopath racing machine. He's starting to close in on Gordon Carter. Good little battle here. 3-way battle with these guys. Iqbal Kurdiawan, I think he's had some trouble. Take a look at Iqbal Kurdiawan. He gets up. Oh, man, he hits the pylon in the chicane. The metal wrapping around that tire barrier, and he is in bad shape there. That was a hard lick. Go back here and take a look at this. As Iqbal Kurdiawan right here, man, he just catches that with the right side of the car. And Paul Brown gets through on board here with Paul Brown. Watch this out of the front of his machine. Oh, and he sees that hard lick. Good job on not losing his composure, and he gets the BMW through. And Iqbal Kurdiawan having some trouble. Chad here, Givaldo coming in and lending his play-by-play. Also Will D. Dem Zadig as well coming in. So you got the 2 cars out of the race. Kurdiawan and Gerasimov out of the race. We do have a second race, but right now Phil Vick, the leader, 1.3 second gap over Bezrikov. It really has been a battle between the 2 of those guys all season long. Take a look at John Stanley here in the Napa-sponsored Ford Focus. He is running in the 14th position in that 27 car. He likes to come out and do something a little bit different. He joins us in the GT3, joins us some other racing that we have during the day on Saturday. And, of course, he's a great stock car racer. And here he is mixing it up in the BTCC series. And we'll be doing GT3 coming up next season in this time slot. So we're halfway through this season, and then we'll have be announcing a schedule very, very soon for the High Octane Racing League GT3 Series 2023. Look at Revion Gumular here having a pretty good race. He's running in the 6th position, hoping to crack the top 5 as Gordon Carter holding on to 5th. Gumular, Revion about 2 seconds back to P5. Pretty solid effort here for him. He had a pretty tough and interesting, I should say, practice session. He's gotten things worked out, and I think he is okay now. Take a look at Paul Brown here in the BMW. Oh, he gets off track a little bit. Gets off track and then slides across the sand. Oh, it smacks the wall. Hard lick. into the wall, and Paul Brown, hard left side contact there for him. So Phil Vick now 2.5 second lead over Bezrikov. Take a look at Nikolai Bezrikov running in the second position. Again, he is in a points battle with Phil Vick for a season championship, and at 1 point separate the two of those guys after 4 races, 2 rounds, 4 races. Take a look at Eugene Fedorov. Fedorov running in the 7th position. So a good run here for him. More Russian drivers. 3 Russian drivers out joining us today. Actually, maybe 4. Gerasimov, Meshkov, Fedorov, Bezrikov, and Shuliev as well. Shuliev still, he disconnected from the TeamSpeak, so it looks like he has left the building. Ritsky Novar, take a look at Ritsky Novar here in the BMW. Oh, fast around the turn. Oh no, he's in that grassy area through the sand, and is he going to miss the tire barrier? Head on into the outside tire barrier just before the hard right-hander, and you see Valles go by. Valles slips through as Ritsky Novar has some trouble. On board here with Valles. I'm sure he's aware that there is a car off the track. At this point, he sees some smoke right there, some sand kicking up, some dust. And you see Novar trying to recover. So Novar having trouble in race number 1. About halfway through race 1. And our leader is Phil Vick, our Belgian driver. He's got a pretty sizable lead, although it's about 2.7 seconds right now. Those guys. And a pretty fair distance back to P3. Andres Valles running in the 3rd position. Kind of been out there by himself. I think this is a track really, got to concentrate on the track itself. You know, you're racing in some pretty heavy traffic at times. You see John Stanley giving Phil Vick some room. But once things get spread out, it is all about just focusing on hitting your marks on this track. You got elevation changes, you got chicanes, you got sweeping right-hand turns, a little bumpy, tight, and it can be a challenge. And what I see from this, and I'm going to just add my editorial commentary here, is the guys that are having trouble really are the guys that have fewer laps here in practice. And I mean throughout the week. This server goes up on Sunday, the week of the race, so they've got a good, good 5-6 days to practice and dial something in. Take a look at Alexander Meshkov running in the 8th position, this 77 car. Denis Shuchin running in the 7th position. So a good run here for him. Top 7. Hoping maybe to crack the top 5. A little work to do there to get up to P5. Well, we got looks like 4 cars out of the race, so a lot of attrition here. Again, this track is tough, man. If you haven't had a lot of practice here, this track really, really is tough. And again, Phil Vick in control here on lap 8. 2.1 seconds. That gap has diminished somewhat. It was up to 2.7, and now we're down to 2.1. So maybe Bedrikoff is starting to reel in Phil Vick on board here with Bedrikoff. He can see Phil Vick up front, and I'm sure he's paying attention to that time and sees that it's dropping down. 2.1 second gap. So roughly around 2 seconds here. He's starting to close in. All you got to do is have a little bit of a slip up there by Phil Vick, and he's in the game. Bedrikoff not losing hope of maybe taking the victory here in race number 1. Andres Valles is up to the 3rd position in the 42 car. Fair distance back, 21 seconds back to the race leader. Got a 3-second gap, or almost a 4-second gap now on P4, and that is Gordon Carter running in the 4th position. Revion Gumular rounding out the top 5. Fairly tight little battle there with those guys. John Stanley here. I think maybe Meshkoff might have had some trouble. He might be on pit lane, and it does look like Meshkoff is pitting as John Stanley. I think Meshkoff now finishing up his pit stop, coming back out on track. We take a look at John Stanley running in the 8th position now as Alexander Meshkoff rejoins the racing surface here on lap 9. Back up here with our race leader, Phil Vick. As Meshkoff maybe, gets off track there on those colder tires, and hard to get the car stopped and into the tire barrier. That is the most treacherous part of the course right there. That sweeping left-hand turn before you get to the banked right-hander, and Meshkoff having some trouble. So here we are on lap 10, Phil Vick. And I tell you what, man, I checked throughout the week. He was on the server a lot, getting a lot of practice in. Little commentary. Will be giving me a hard time. You mean practice makes you better? I don't believe it. Definitely at this track, you can't just come in and not have some practice in these cars as well. Even though you may have been on this track before, you see Phil Vick running wide just a little bit, using all that track. Down to about 2.2 seconds, so he's been able to expand that lead by about a tenth. Take a look at Dennis Unichin here running in 7th. We took a look at him just a few minutes ago. And he's got a 6-second lead over the 8th position car, and that is John Stanley. 5.5 seconds now as John Stanley trying to close the gap here. Got some traffic behind, hoping to get by. John Stanley going to give those guys some room. In an easy place right there to let somebody by, and you see John Stanley going wide and letting those guys on the lead lap get through. Take a look at Phil Vick again, our leader. 1.7 second gap now as we start to wind down the laps. So starting to get a little tighter here. Nikolai Bedrikoff in the 16 car trying to close in and steal a victory. Snatch that victory away from Phil Vick. John Stanley's had some trouble here. Going wide, getting in the grass, and got that double right-hander there, and okay for him. He just gets into the grass a little bit and the sand, but it looks like it's okay. Keeps it out of the tire barrier. Great job by John Stanley in the Ford Focus. Eugene Fedorov. He's running in the 6th position, hoping to crack the top 5. He's going to need a little help there with Revion and Gordon just ahead. They're a fair distance ahead, but they got a tight battle here going on between the two of those guys. Here's Revion's machine. He's running in the 4th position, and just behind him is Gordon Carter. Great little battle here on the track. Probably the closest battle right now. But Bezhikov and the Vic battle are down to 1.8 seconds. Here we're taking a look at about 0.8 separating P4 and P5 here on lap 12. Will D thinks Nikolai might be saving tires to make a run at Phil Vick. This battle is tight now, man. 0.8 seconds separate the two of these guys. Gordon Carter hoping to close in and maybe get around Revion Gumular. We'll take a look at our side-by-side view here on board with Gordon Carter on that right-hand screen and take a look at Revion in the 4th position. Again, 0.8 separate the two of those guys, and that's tightening up, man. That is tightening up. One little slip up by either of these guys, and it's going to change this battle. Here we are on lap 12, and Gordon Carter holding his own, trying to close in. Now 0.7 seconds here as we approach the chicane. Oh, man. Oh, tight right there, man. He's really closing in now. That was tight. Scrubbed off a little speed on the exit of that chicane, though. And that is a tight battle. Wow, what a great battle there. We'll keep our eye on that battle from those guys. Go back here to Phil Vick. 1.2 seconds still leading, but Bezhikov is closing. 1.1 seconds, so we're going to be down to a second here before we know it. A lot of fun in these cars, man. A lot of work in these cars, too. So down to a second gap between Nikolai Bezhikov. Phil Vick is the leader. Bezhikov in the Infiniti running in P2. 3 laps to go. Got 2 battles on the track to watch. We take a look at both of them. Top left there, little spread out now. 1.2 seconds. Phil Vick and Nikolai Bezhikov. And in that right side screen, Revion Gumular and Gordon Carter battling for the 4th position. About 0.6 seconds separate the two of those guys. That gap there between P1 and P2, now 1.2 seconds. With 2 laps to go. A little bit of lap traffic in the way as Phil Vick trying to march his way through some lap traffic. That could change the complexion of this race. Having some trouble with some lap traffic is Phil Vick, or actually that's Bezhikov. Phil Vick. Those guys got around through some lap traffic. Phil Vick and Bezhikov tight now. Nose to tail here with 2 laps to go, and Bezhikov all over the back of Phil Vick. What a great battle here in race number 1. Will D suggests that maybe Phil Vick was, Bezrikov was saving some tires. You see that gap, 0.3 now. I mean, it was high as about 2.7 seconds, and Bezrikov is all over the back of Phil Vick. Across the start-finish line, we'll have 1 lap to go. Can Bezrikov get around Phil Vick? Phil Vick, our Belgian driver, in the BMW, can he hold off this Infinity? You know Bezrikov, man, he's going to race him clean. A little bit wide for Vick. Extending that lead to 0.5. Hard to pass here. Oh, Phil Vick goes wide into the sand. Phil Vick wide in the sand on this last lap. Bezrikov trying to find a way to set up a pass. So hard to pass here at Oulton Park. Going to concentrate on passing through the chicane there. As you guys see, those guys through the first chicane. Going to concentrate on trying to pass and stay on the road at the same time. Very difficult to do here at Oulton Park. Second chicane. Going to have a hard left-hander here. Right-hander, sorry. Left from the other side of the fence. I know my left from my right. Phil Vick, 0.4 of a second. Trying to hold off a challenge from Nikolai Bezrikov. Both these guys do a lot of practice. Over the hill. Another right-hander coming up. Last lap. Sliding it sideways there is Phil Vick. Up the hill, and it looks like Phil Vick is going to take the victory here in race number 1 at Oulton Park. What a battle there between the two of those guys. What a battle. So Phil Vick gets the win. So congratulations to Phil Vick. And getting the win here at Oulton Park in race number 1. Andres Valles finishing up his effort here, and he's going to finish in the 3rd position. Revian Gumular going to hold off Gordon Carter for P4. Gordon Carter finishes in the 5th position. So Phil Vick takes race number 1 here at Oulton Park. So congratulations to him. And we'll take a look at the results here as everybody crosses the line. So congratulations to Phil Vick on getting race number 1 here at Oulton Park. And we'll take a look at the finishing order. Take a look at the final results. So race number 1, Phil Vick did his first. Nikolai Bezrikov second. Andres Valles third. Revian Gumular fourth. Gordon Carter fifth. Eugene Fedorov finishes in the 6th position. John Stanley actually finishes in 7th. Finishing in 8th is Meshkov. There we go. We finally got him there. It's like Stanley finishes at 8th. Meshkov 9th. Ritsky Nobar finishes in 10th. Dennis Yudishin finishes in the 7th position. Some of these guys having trouble here. Paul Brown, Nick Balkerniawan, and Nikolai Gerasimov rounding out 11th, 12th, and 13th in race number 1. So congratulations to Phil Vick on taking the victory there in race number 1. Can he do it for race 2? Guys will have a short little break and go to the qualification. All right, these guys are going to have a 5-minute practice session before we start round number 2 or race number 2. So Givaldo said he's going to go for a coffee break. And we will be back just shortly. Don't leave us. We'll give you some entertainment. How about the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network Hospitals promo video? When I find that. So Extra Life Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, we're going to be doing a race there on, I think it's September the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So excited about that. All right, looks like we're back here. We are going to have about a 5-minute practice session before we start race number 2. Thanks for joining us here on TurnLeft TV. I'm your host, Heath Johnson. Don't forget, in our YouTube channel, thanks to all those folks who have subscribed. I appreciate that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, man. Like this video, get it out there. And also, if you haven't subscribed, punch that subscribe button and massage ever so lightly the bell. Thanks to all those folks that come out. Share my videos with all your friends on any social media platform where you can share YouTube videos. I appreciate that. Today's race is brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server, there are 3 self-managed server packages for you to choose from. That's EliteHostingUSA.com. Hopefully those guys that got put out early maybe loaded up the track in single player and got some practice in. The elevation changes and also the lack of anti-lock brakes. This thing can be really, really challenging. I love this track, and I really like it in these cars as well. I mean, I think I prefer it in the GT3 cars, but nonetheless, these are a lot of fun on this track. Now, I've not tried it in an LMP2, but wow, that would be interesting. So just a few minutes left here in the practice session as we get ready to go to quals for race number 2. Again, we'll take a look at the schedule here in the BTCC series. Next week, we'll be at Indianapolis Road Course. I suggest you will probably have a couple 15-lap races there as well. Silverstone follows that on September the 23rd. And Gateway Road Course for the final race of the season. All right, looks like these guys headed over to the qualification session. Back to the qual session. Paul Brown had a pretty tough race there in race number 1. Let's see how things turn out for race number 2. Remember, Phil Vick took the victory in race 1. Bezrikov gave him a pretty valiant, pretty intense battle there between the two of those guys. Bezrikov finishes in P2. Miller had a good race too, finished in the 4th position. Guys had some tough race there in the first. Meshkov, Novar, Gerasimov all had tough races there, as well as Paul Brown. So he's hoping to bounce back here in race number 2. Up the hill for Paul Brown and to start his qualification lap. .754 in sector number 1 for the 33 car. The guys like the BMW. Seen quite a few drivers out in the Ford Focus as well. We do have a pretty good parity there, I think, as far as manufacturers. A couple guys in the Infiniti. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I think we had some guys in the Hyundai as well. So, and Toyota, of course, represented. what that lap is. Phil Vick, 138, 695. Paul Brown, 142, 246. Right now, second on the grid. Little work to do for Paul Brown. But if he stays there, I think he's going to like that starting position. We'll take a look at Iqbal Kurti Alwin. Kurti Alwin, let's see what he lays down here. 141, 834. Kurti Alwin up to second on the grid. Good run there for him. Alexander Bashkov in the Ford. A little bit cutting that turn just a little bit there. Scrub off some speed. He's in sector number 1. I think sector 1 probably the most difficult sector, I think. I mean, turns 1 and 2, you know, you got the right-hander, and then up the hill, down the hill to turn 2. Turn 2, very tough one. Easy to overdrive that, get on the outside grass. Then, of course, you got the chicane as well right here. So that's a tough one. And then down the hill to the second chicane. So a lot going on in sector number 1. Actually, this is the beginning of sector number 2 here. But so 2 seconds off there. 138, 695 is the time to beat. 47,502 in sector 2. Let's see what he lays down. 145.977. A little bit faster there in sector number 3. Nikolai Bezrikov in his outlap. Remember, he finished second both races last week and finished second in race number 1 this week. Got 2 wins in round number 1 at Brands Hatch. That was a great race to watch, too. We had a ton of drivers out for that. And that's a tight track, a short track. We did some elevation changes to make it interesting. See what Bezrikov lays down here in the Infinity for qual session number 2. Valle's up to second on the grid. Novar third. Kurti Alwin fourth. Paul Brown is fifth. A little bit off there in sector 1, about 3/10 off in sector 1. Bezrikov trying to rebound here in sector 2. Tough right-hander here, high-speed right-hander. Easy to get off on the left side into the grass. Coming up here for a much tighter right-hander, double right-hander, I should say, in my opinion. It's a double right-hander. And then up the hill, very bumpy and tight. Very, very narrow corridor right there, in my opinion, as you come up that hill. And 139.089, great run there for Bezrikov. He's 7/10 back, but a good run there on that lap. Alexander Meshkov in the 77 car in his outlap, trying to lay down a lap here. 138.372 is the time to beat. I don't know if Meshkov's actually going to get around here and be able to get a qualification lap in. He's just maybe getting some practice in. As we're running out of time here in quals. He's still out on his out lap, and we're looking at a minute 15 left in the qualification session. Take a look at Gordon Carter, 124 so far for him as he's through 2 sectors. Coming off the final turn, down the hill, and then up the final bumpy hill here through the straightaway. 141, 123, 6th on the grid here for Gordon Carter. Valier is trying to improve his position. Got a little work to do in this one. 138.372 is the top time. Phil Vick, winner of race number 1 of today's round here at Oulton Park. Phil Vick still out there trying to improve his position, I think. Now he goes back into the pits. Valier's here in the 78 car up the hill. It's going to be close. Is he going to do it? 140.490 up to 3rd on the grid for Valier. He squeaks in a qualification lap there. Paul Brown with his final attempt. I'm not sure he's going to have enough time to get it before the session ends. The checkered flag, so let's see if it counts this lap. Up the hill, let's see if Paul Brown gets counted for this lap. 141.422. It does count the lap, so up to 7th on the grid for Paul Brown. See if we get a qualification results. They're going to give it to us. Here we go. Phil Vick qualifies P1. Nikolai Bechikov 2nd. Andres Valier qualifies into 3rd position. Revion Gumular is 4th. Nikolai Gerasimov 5th. Gordon Carter starts in the 6th position. Paul Brown 7th. Ritsky Novar 8th. Iqbal Kurdiawan will start 9th. Eugene Fedorov starts in the 10th position. Starting in P11 will be Alexander Meshkov, and Denis Yudishin starts in the 12th position. So a great little qualification there for Phil Vick. Get himself in good position to maybe take race number 2. This guy's flipping it over now to straight to race, I believe. It looks like warm-up is going. All right, boys and girls, here we go. Race number 2 of round 3. Our second battle. And we'll take a look at the starting order here as Phil Vick qualifies P1, Bezrikov 2nd, Valier's 3rd. Revion Gumular starts in the 4th position. Starting in 5th was Nikolai Gerasimov. Gordon Carter starts 6th. Paul Brown 7th. Ritsky Novar will start in the 8th position. Starting in 9th will be Iqbal Kurdiawan, Eugene Fedorov 10th. Alexander Meshkov starts in the 11th position. Dennis Yudichin starts in 12th. And John Stanley will start in P13. So here we go. Standing start here. And we're off for race number 2. We've already got contact back in the pack, man. Already got some contact back there. Heard some sheet metal. Bezrikov says, I do not want to let him get away from me this time. He dropped back, tried that tire save strategy. And he is all over the back of Phil Vick. Great battle here, P1, P2. From off the right-hander. Through the first chicane as and up the hill. A lot of stuff can happen through this chicane, man. Everybody seems to get through that pretty cleanly. Got a battle here for the second position as Andres Valle says, I'm not going to let these guys get away from me this time. On board here with him as he running in third position. He's wanting to hold on to the back end of those guys. Ritzky Novar and Gordon Carter here getting after it. Up the hill, approaching the chicane. Something's got to give here as we're going to tighten it up. Got a hard right-hander here as it looks like Ritzky Novar is going to take that position. Novar picking up a spot. Ball Kurdiawan, he's trying to sneak through as well. And oh, he has some trouble. He tried to get through Gordon Carter, and he's going to lose some positions there. A little bit of scrape of the wall. Iqbal Kurdiawan got after it right there. It did not work out for him. Take a look here. Is this contact there with Gordon Carter? Watch this. Down into the turn. Kurdiawan sends it, and it comes around on him. Man, tough break there for Iqbal Kurdiawan. Will Vick there opening up a gap on Bezrikov. Kurdiawan's had some trouble. And it has dropped back to the 13th position. Phil Vick and Bezrikov battling it out. Gerasimov now picking up a spot here. He is in the third spot as it looks like Andres Valles might have had a little trouble. We'll take a look at, see what happened there as Valles had a little trouble here. And I believe that, take a look here at this replay. At least I think it's a replay. I swear it's a replay. It may be Gerasimov gets by already. Might have missed that. Valles now back to the third position. We go back to live here as we'll take a look at Phil Vick here at live. Able to get that replay, unfortunately. Valles had come off the track, and not sure what happened to Valles, but says he came off track right there. He does miss a little bit and gets off into the grass. There we go. There's the issue. Valles getting off track. This is a little bit of a replay here, and he's going to lose a couple positions. Getting back out on track right there as looks like Revion gets by. Track is tough, man. You really got to race this track. Try to make the passes when you can. Wait on guys to make mistakes, but you got to concentrate on hitting your marks here. Your braking points, acceleration points, getting yourself through the turns. Did put up my keys to the race. Kind of busy here, but my keys to the race: own those corners, man. Manage that gas pedal, and it's all about corner exit here too, and not overdriving it. You got to really find a line. It's all about racing the track here, I think. And then you'll make passes when you can. Ricky Novar out of the race now as well. He's had tough 2 races. Something happened to Novar. Looks like maybe he came off track and might have spun around as well. Not sure what happened to Novar. Looks like Novar might have had a connection issue. Yep, definitely looks like Novar had a connection issue. What a shame there. Rough weekend there for Novar. Phil Vick still heading it up as Bezrikov not letting him get away. It's about 0.7 of a second between the two of those. Guy had a little trouble right there on the exit of that chicane. Bezrikov still in the mix. Just one little slip up here. You see these guys driving the track, man. These guys are some of the best in the business. They've proven it throughout this championship. So P1, P2. Gerasimov is in third. And he's got Andres Valles in tow. So about 0.5 second separate P3, P4. Gerasimov had a tough break there. Really tough first race. Trying to bounce back here in race number 2. And Valles trying to close in and pick up the 3rd position. On board here with Gerasimov a little bit wide there. Be really careful not to get into the grass on that hard right-hander. Go by side view here on board on that right-hand screen with Andres Valles. It's stretched out a little bit. Gerasimov now about a second gap over Valles. Valles trying to close in this Ford Focus, or actually a Toyota. A couple Toyotas here battling it out, actually. Let's take a look at Revian Gumila running in the 5th position. He had a pretty good race in race number 1. Hoping to make it 2. One of our Brazilian drivers, actually one of our Indonesian drivers, I take that back. Psychopath Racing crowd right there. Paul Brown running into 6th position. He had a pretty good race going, and then it just went to heck in a hurry for him. In a race, in the back half of that race, about, maybe about 5-10 laps in. Actually, about 10 laps in. A little past. Look at this. We got a battle here. We have a battle here. This is Paul Brown and Gordon Carter battling it out. A couple BMWs getting after it. Gordon Carter up in his race craft. He loves these BTCC cars. Really got to get in and drive these cars, and he is all over the back of Paul Brown right now. Paul Brown running in P6, Gordon Carter in the 7th position. A great little battle here. On board with Gordon Carter as he's trying to close in. You see locking up those tires a little bit there for Paul Brown, swinging it wide. And this is a great little battle here on the track. A couple BMWs getting after it. Paul Brown, one of our Pennsylvania drivers. Gordon Carter, hailing from Canada. Stretching it out just a little bit right there. Alexander Meshkov had a tough first race here. I'm hoping to bounce back. He's running in the 8th position in this 77 car. Behind him is Dennis Yudichin. Yudichin about 20 seconds or 22 seconds back, so a big gap there between P7, 8, and 9. John Stanley hanging tough here in the Ford Focus, trying to close in on Dennis Yudichin. John Stanley all over the back of Dennis Yudichin through that banked right-hander as they approach the chicane. The first of 2 chicanes. That is a tough one right there. You got to hit that wheel back to the right pretty quickly. I'll tell you what, man, Gordon Carter is putting on a clinic right now, closing in on Paul Brown. This is a great battle here. It's shaping up. Fedorov's had some trouble. Looks like he is out of the race. What a tough break there for Eugene Fedorov. Not sure what happened to him, but he has retired his machine. Back up here with Phil Vick. He's opened up by about a 1.2 second gap over Nikolai Bezhikov. Gerasimov runs in 3rd, Valles 4th, Gubilar running in the 5th position. Paul Brown, Gordon Carter, Meshkov, Yudichin, and Stanley rounding out the top 10. The rest of the guys, 11, 12, and 13, out of the race. We approach halfway. Go back here and look at Nikolai Gerasimov running in the 3rd position. He's sort of, I want to say, out there by himself. He's got about a second, about 2 second lead over Valles, who's running in P4. Valles really on the wheel here, trying to close in on Gerasimov. Both these guys have a lot of road course experience. You do see a little bit of damage on the right side of that 78 car, up by that rear roof pillar. So there's a little bit of right side damage to the 78 car, maybe affecting the handling on that machine. Gordon Carter closing in on Paul Brown. Gordon Carter, he's swinging it wide. Oh, no, he gets into the grass. Gordon Carter into the grass and touches the wall. Not huge contact, but backs it across the track. And oh, my heavens, man. Gordon Carter. Let's take a look here as he gets into the grass right there. Oh, and then hard into the wall. Paul Brown had a ringside seat for that out of the back of his car. Aboard here with Gordon Carter. Watch this. It's just going to get a little bit wide right there. Just barely touches the grass, and the back end of that car comes around. That is a horrible place to get off into the grass. You're carrying so much speed. Getting that car back to the left a little bit to set up that right-hand turn. And not too bad, really, but some front-end damage now for that high-place moving sponsor machine. And I know he's disappointed there because he was really pushing Paul Brown. Now he's 10 seconds back. Phil Vick now running up on some lap traffic. This could be a factor, although John Stanley pretty good of track awareness and probably will move over quite a bit as Phil Vick begins to close in on John Stanley here. It's a tough place to pass through this area of the track. Phil Vick going off into the grass here, trying to get around. As he does, as he's going to enter the chicane, and you see John Stanley running in P10. There's Bezhikov in the 2nd position. Bezhikov Hopefully going to try to get around. And Stanley gets off track there, letting those guys have some room. It is a tight track. Tough to make a pass. Phil Vick gets around. Now Bezrikov also gets around. Bezrikov might have had a little bit more trouble and a little bit longer to get around, but he had an easier part of the track to be able to make that pass. Gerasimov running in third, as Andres Valles is 1.2 seconds back in the fourth position. Revion about 3 seconds back, about 4 seconds back, 5 seconds back to P3, 4 seconds back to the fourth place car. Paul Brown running in at the sixth position. Really disappointed in himself in race number 1. And just snapped around on him and ended his effort in race 1. Maybe made some adjustments here for race 2. So far here on lap 10. Running in the sixth position. Gumilar and Bezrikov, 1-2, just like what we saw in race number 1. And the gap is about the same as well. I'd say maybe at this point might be a little bit tighter. Bezrikov, we thought, might have been saving some tires about halfway through the race. Maybe adjusting that strategy a little bit. 1.2 second gap separates the two of these guys. Pretty clear track ahead. Bezrikov now back to 1.3. He is really driving this car to try to close in on that BMW. Anytime you are running ahead of Nikolai Bezrikov, you are doing something. That is for sure. Bezrikov is a great race car driver. Phil Vick has shown that he is great in these BTCC cars. This battle for P3 has tightened up. As you see, Andres Valles now just about 4/10 back in the fourth position. So this is starting to get a little tighter here. A couple Toyotas beating each other up here for P3. Gordon Carter been able to recover somewhat, but still now 10.5 seconds down. So he's going to have some front end damage, and that car definitely not handling the way that he wants. It certainly does a little bit to your confidence and to your strategy there too. You got to try to focus, get back to it. Think as if that didn't happen, and it's hard to do. Alexander Meshkov, the last car on the lead lap. He is running in the 8th position in a 77 car. 2.7 second gap now separate P1, P2. Now here on lap 12, scheduled for 15 laps here in race 2. Phil Vick, Nikolai Bezrikov, Nikolai Gerasimov, Andres Valles, and Revion Gumilar rounding out the top 5. Did a pretty clean race here. We've had some attrition. Fedorov, Kurniawan, and actually it looks like Novar and Kurniawan had the biggest trouble, and I'm not sure what happened to Fedorov. I think he didn't really see anything as far as a crash or anything out of him. Just saw he retired. Bezrikov's had some trouble. We'll take a look and see what's happened to Bezrikov. Now down to 10 seconds. And a little bit wide, right where we saw Gordon Carter having some trouble. Bezrikov does a good job of keeping it out of the wall. But he had some trouble now, and that is a tough break there for him with just a few laps to go. Again, we'll take a look here. He just gets a little bit wide. I said this is the toughest turn on the track. At high speed, you get into the grass right there. You're trying to set yourself up for that right-hander, and he is lucky that car didn't slide across the grass. So Phil Vick is our leader. Valles here now closing in. Look at this, man. This is a battle. This is a battle between Valles. Oh, Valles gets off track. 78 as he was closing in on Gerasimov. 1 second separate the two of these guys. And I think Valles is a little bit faster here. A great battle. With just under 3 laps to go. Now down under a second. Around a second, I guess. Phil Vick's got to feel pretty comfortable now with his position. And you see he's backed off just a little bit. He's 9.8 seconds up. Hovering around that 10-second gap. I don't think he's really concerned with Bezrikov at this point. I think he's more focused on just taking home the victory. He realized that Bezrikov has had trouble in race 2. And just trying to hold on here for another lap and a half to bring home a second win here today. That battle shaping up there just behind. We're looking at the 4th place car. Andres Valles out of the front of his machine is P3. And that is Nikolai Gerasimov. You know, Valles not afraid to lay a bumper to the car. And looks like Gerasimov gets a little bit better launch off that turn. So opens up about a half a second gap there on Valles. Valles doing what he can to close in here and maybe pick up another spot to get around Gerasimov and finish in P3. 2 laps to go for Phil Vick. Waldo, I think, onto something here. He says Vick coming in for another win. Will D says just got to drive safely. That's right, man. You don't hit your marks. Don't overdrive anything. Maybe avoiding the lap traffic if you can. It doesn't look like that's going to be a factor for him. And we do have a battle here as, look at this. Oh, Gerasimov gets off the track. Oh, there's a lap traffic in the way. Gerasimov gives Udichin a punt. And oh, they're beating and banging there. Valles and Gerasimov beating and banging here. Oh, no! Valles into the back of Gerasimov. Oh, my heavens. Oh, no. We'll take a look here at this action as Gerasimov gets into the back of Udichin. Udichin in the lap car. Horrible place to catch a lap car. Side by side, Gerasimov and Valles. Gerasimov inching ahead right there. Tries to cut over. Both of those guys cutting over a little bit to set themselves up for the chicane. And then Gerasimov off the track as Valles gets around. Oh, my heavens, man. Phil Vick, no idea what went on there, obviously. He's just trying to complete his laps, and wow, some shenanigans. Near the end of this race, Gerasimov back to 5th now. Phil Vick. Gerasimov now off the track again, so he's going to have some damage in that machine. And it really started with the lap car of Denis Yunichin. Those guys tried to get through and got into the back of him. That gave Valles a little bit of an opening to get on the bottom side of Gerasimov. And coming around the final turn, back up the hill. And Phil Vick going to get another win. And helping his championship effort out, that is for sure. So Phil Vick getting the win here at Oulton Park in race number 2. So congratulations to Phil Vick, taking home the win. You get a little bit better sun on the side of that car. How about that? So congratulations to Phil Vick. And man, that battle there. Let's take a look at this again. Right here, you see Phil Vick, or excuse me, you see Gerasimov get into the back of Yunichin. That leaves an opening right there for Valles. They get alongside one another, beating and banging right there, coming over the hill. They're trying to set themselves up for the chicane. And then Valles into the back of Gerasimov. Gerasimov goes off track and then has some trouble, and he's going to lose the positions. So Phil Vick gets the win. So congratulations to Phil Vick. And we'll take a look at the final results. Hopefully we got these. Phil Vick gets the win. Nikolai Bezrikov finishes second. Andres Valles third. Revian Gubilar finishes in fourth position. Paul Brown fifth. Gordon Carter finishes sixth. Nikolai Gerasimov falls to seventh there on that last lap. Alexander Meshkov eighth. Denis Yunichin ninth. John Stanley finishes in the 10th position. Finishing in 11th is Ritsky Novar. Eugene Fedorov 12th. And Iqbal Kurdiawan finishes in 13th. So congratulations to Phil Vick on getting 2 wins today. Another sweep for Phil Vick. So congratulations to him. Maybe we'll be able to get him up in the broadcast booth and have a chat with him. Okay, we're joined up in the broadcast booth by Phil Vick, and he gets another sweep here in round number 3. Congratulations, 2 wins here at Oulton Park. Great job.
Thanks to you.
Well, that battle you really had with Nikolai Bezrikov was more in your mirror. I mean, he was closing and then he'd fall back. What was your strategy as you see that he was coming up and closing the gap on you?
My strategy was no go outside of the tracks. Oulton Park is very difficult to overtake. He was in my mirror a long time, under the 1 second, I think. And the blue flag is very difficult to keep the pace.
you didn't really have any problems in race number 2, I think, with lap traffic. It was more race number 1. What was going through your mind in that first race as you approached some lap traffic and Bezrikov was using that opportunity to be able to close the gap on you?
Yes, on the first race, Brands Indy, traffic was very big and more difficult to keep a good pace.
It seems that Oulton Park is a track where you really have to concentrate on racing the track versus racing the other cars. Is that your assessment of this track as well?
I don't understand.
Really concentrating on hitting your marks at the track versus racing other cars, and trying to keep the car between the lines on the pavement and out of the grass is your focus.
Yes, it's typical English track. The grass is very present. There is a lot of grass, very skippy, I think. You need to be very careful to not go too much on the grass. One wheel or two, but not the 4 wheel.
Well, I assume that you've never been on the Indy road course in the BTCC cars, but maybe have driven it in other cars. If so, what's your opinion of that track, and how do you feel that you're going to be able to fare at that track in the BTCC cars?
I race a lot of BTCC cars and in this moment. GTE is very good too. But in this moment, I don't race with GTE.
Well, good luck to you next week at Indy Road Course. Congratulations on a big win. You want to say something to your fans out there in Belgium and across Europe?
Merci à vous, et c'est une très bonne organisation. Merci à vous.
All right, congratulations, Phil, and good luck next week.
See you soon. Bye.
All right, that's Phil Vick joining us up here in the booth, and our Belgian drivers. I don't think we have any other Belgians in our Discord server in High Octane Racing League. So he is, as far as I know, the only one. I may be wrong, but I always like to have a huge international flavor here, guys from different parts of the world. And Phil Vick is coming in and, number one, shows how to race other people. I mean, he really has been a great competitor, clean racer. He's very friendly. He gets out and does the practice throughout the week. He is showing the other drivers really how to get out and compete too, and a great representative of not only BTCC but also the country of Belgium as well. So congratulations to him on getting the win. But don't forget, next week we will be at Indianapolis Road Course. 2 rounds there at Indy. And then following that, Silverstone. So we'll be on the back half of that this series at Indy next week, and I'm excited about that. That's my home, man. And actually, IMSA is going to be at Indianapolis really next week, too. So I'm skipping the IMSA race to broadcast these races for you on Saturday. So excited for that. Don't want to miss that. That'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. Saturday Night Thunder headed your way here in just a little while. Race number 5 of the season, and it is Kansas. This is Beat the Broadcaster night, man. You don't like how I talked about you on the broadcast? You think I was a little bit smart aleck? Come on out and take it out on me here at Kansas. 120 laps. I'll be out of the broadcast booth, into the driver's seat, and it's Beat the Broadcaster night, the Saturday Night Thunder, the Cup Series at Kansas. So that is going to be a fun one. Bushwhacker Series will be back in action next week for race number 7 of the season, a 150-lap race from Bristol. We talk about some Tempers flaring. There's going to be some Tempers flaring at that short track. It'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, coming up on September the 15th. That's Friday, September the 15th at Bristol. Racing will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today's race has been brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server, there are 3 self-managed server packages for you to choose from. That's EliteHostingUSA.com. How about some WordPress hosting or online store hosting? VPS hosting and shared web hosting also available through EliteHostingUSA.com. And that's who provides our servers and our website here at highoctaneracing.net. You get a quick link to our Discord server, so please head on over there. And if you'd like to join up and run with us, we'd love to have you. Thanks for coming out and watching the races today here on the YouTube channel. Boy, if you want to get more people out and watch the race, hit that thumbs up button. Get this video out there so the code can let people know what's out there. Get it showing up on the screen. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and then smash the bell. Thanks so much for joining me here on TurnLeft TV. That's going to do it for us today. And I am out of here, boys and girls. We'll see you next time.